it's been quite a while since I came on the camera to speak about my life and talk about my thoughts and feelings. So, yeah, let's start then, I guess. Where did I last left off? This was like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was not in a good headspace. I mean, I don't think I'm even in a good headspace now, but at least it's a lot better than what it was before. Before, I was very anxious about the future. I didn't know where I was going to be heading. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no clue of anything. But now I can safely say that I am a lot more confident as a person, and I am a lot more confident in my future and where I'm heading and what I need to do to achieve the goal I want to achieve. It's about time, you know. I'm 26, turning 27 now. And finally, in life, I can safely say I think I know where I'm going. And I think I know what I want to do and what I want to be. So, yeah. Let's rewind back the clock to like 2 years ago when I last made a video. I was still working in the school as a maintenance technician. That role was all right. You know, it was very chill, easy. It had paid good, and I didn't really have to stress too much. However, my contract was coming to an end, and I needed to find another job. Alternatively, I could have stayed on, but I really didn't like the sound of basically working at a school full time there, and I just don't see a future. I don't see that as a career prospect at all. There's no progression, and I'll just end up working at school as a glorified janitor for the rest of my life. And I didn't believe that was the best decision for me. So I decided to look for another job. And thankfully, it took a lot of applications, but I managed to land 2 job offers. One of them was for a company called Merlin Entertainment. They're a company that looks after the London Eye, SeaWorld, and Shrek Adventures in London. So that was one choice. I would be doing a electrical technician role there, and the pay for that was very good. They offered me, I think it was 45,000 after training. It was 40 to begin with, and then 45 after 6 months when I finished training. So that was a very spicy option, I'm not going to lie. I wanted to take that, but a part of me was doubting whether I wanted actually to fully do maintenance, or whether I wanted to do something I'm more passionate about, which was design. So I applied for a system designer role in a smoke ventilation company, and that was the other option. I thankfully got the opportunity for the job, and I was left with 2 choices. It was a very difficult choice. I could either stay on the path that I was already on, doing maintenance and getting paid a lot more, or I could take the risk, take the pay cut, and start a new career in design. Well, spoilers, I decided to take that risk because I didn't want to work as a maintenance technician for the rest of my life, and that role is a manual labor role where I'll be trading my physical labor for money. So I thought that I didn't want to be trading my labor for money anymore, and I wanted to think about the future. Maybe if I had an office job, I could have more freedom and more security in the aspect of when I'm old, I might not be able to work a physically demanding job anymore. So I was thinking about the future for that. And also working in an office type role opens you up to remote work. Yeah, so I took the risk. That the role for the system designer made me take a massive pay cut, I wasn't sure whether I was making the right decision, but looking back on hindsight now, I'm glad I made that decision. I'm glad I took that risk. I'm glad I made the jump into design, because I wouldn't be where I am today without that vital decision that I made 2 years ago. And I'm still reaping the benefits of it today, right now. So I worked as a system designer, like I said. I was designing smoke control ventilation systems for buildings. So I'm not going to bore you too much on the details, but when a building goes on fire, typically high-rise building, there needs to be a way to ventilate and extract the smoke from that building so the occupants can escape the building and the firefighters can come in and see what they're doing when they're coming to fight the fire. So those are the type of system I was designing for. So I was doing it for architects and building developers. Now I worked at this role. I mildly enjoy it. It was a lot better than what I was doing before. But I still felt a bit empty. I still feel a bit cautious and anxious about where my career would be heading, because again, I wasn't sure about the future of that role. I wasn't sure what the progression was like, but so I decided to apply for other jobs again a year later, which led me to my current role now, because my manager has caught wind of me trying to resign and look for another job. So they have offered me another position within the company, and this is a fire engineer role, which is a consultancy role where you would advise the building developers and architects on how to build their building to meet the building regulations in terms of fire safety, that is. So I would be telling them how to how I would be telling them how many stairs the building would require, the walls, the fire rating of the doors, the windows, and everything. So you're basically telling them how to make their building compliant. This is the role I am now, and I'm glad to have made that jump, because again, now I'm in a position where I could work remotely, and I know where I need to go to progress my career now. I want to be able to become a chartered fire engineer. I want to be able to eventually one day become self-employed, or maybe have my own little business on the side and do this work privately and rake in the money. But before that, maybe I probably need to wait like 10 years to get enough experience to get there. But at least now I know more of the structure on how to get there. I just need to put in the time and effort now. The hard part is done. And I'm so glad that I took the jump, because I wouldn't have been where I am now if I didn't take that risk 2 years ago. And I'm sure this decision would pay off more in the long run. But ultimately, do I still want to work? Not really. But is it better now that I'm working my current role that is remote? 100%. I'm so grateful for where I am now. I'm so grateful for everything that has happened to me. And I'm glad I took that risk. So yeah, that's my career. That's where I want to be in maybe 10 years time. I should hopefully be a chartered engineer, and maybe to be doing my own things by then. As in terms of retiring and not working anymore, I also don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be working till I'm 67, old and wrinkly. That's not the life I want to live. I want to enjoy it. So the only way I can see right now is to save up and invest. So recently, about a year and a half ago, I started to religiously save up money and invest into the S&P 500. which is an index fund which has a typical return of about 8% per year. Not going to bore you with that, but essentially I plan to retire at the age of 50. If I religiously save now till the age of 50, I should be able to just quit everything, quit life, and enjoy it. Of course, if something else comes up before then, if I manage to somehow win a lottery, or I don't know, whatever surprises life decides to throw at me, and I get to retire sooner, I'll take the opportunity. But for now, this is what I have. It's the only safe bet that I have, because I don't want to be working too old and wrinkly, basically. So yeah, that's where my life is heading right now, and I have a more positive outlook now. Hopefully that might inspire some people to take the risk to do something they've never done before, even if it seems scary right now. Hindsight, you know, it might pay off, and you'll thank yourself tenfold for it. So yeah, thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Maybe you'll see another update in 2 years' time. I don't know. But that's it for now. See ya. Oh, just before I sign off, another thing which I wanted to add that I forgot to mention is life is really unpredictable, you know? You never know what's going to happen. You never know what curveball is going to be throwing at you. And I guess my lesson for that is to just take life as it is, you know? Make the most of the opportunity you're given and the chances you get, because you never know what it's going to lead to. And never feel scared to take a risk, because taking risks is all part of life, everything. So yeah, if you asked me 5-10 years ago where did I expect to be, I would have never ever said that I'll be a fire engineer. I didn't even know what that was back then. So yeah, life just hands you some cards, and you just gotta play with what you have, and I'm grateful for that. So yeah, now I'm signing off for real.